Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Like many of the most iconic racetracks, tonight's circuit was built to continue a rich tradition of racing on a true road course through the town and surrounding villages. In this case, the first race was held on the streets just over 100 years ago on a layout over 40 miles long, and it wasn't until 50 years later that racers transitioned to a permanent circuit for much the same reason as in places like Watkins Glen and Elkhart Lake: spectator and, to a lesser extent, driver safety. The layout that debuted in 1974 and that will race on tonight challenges drivers with long, tightening sweepers, quick transitions, and a very long straightaway. The Prancing Horses owned the facility since 1988, and though Fiorano might be its primary test track for its street cars, tonight's venue has seen its share of stallions as well, hosting MotoGP, FIA GT, DTM, and the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix, where appropriately enough, Ferrari raced in its 1,000th Grand Prix. Welcome to L'aerodromo del Mugello for round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by SCCA Foundation, Buttkicker, and Proforma Elite here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod with Jonathan Grabowski in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all the best views of tonight's 90-minute run to the checker for our GTP and GT3 racers. So good evening, Larry, and welcome back for, I think, the second time in the last month and a half or so to Mugello.
Well, Greg, good evening. I'm so thrilled to be here and be able to call this race tonight. I do applaud your Italian inflection was nearly perfect on that name of the track. So very well
that's
done.
Good, because I tried to give it a little bit of a Scottish feel for tonight.
Well, you did have a couple of chances about 6 weeks ago or so to nail this thing, and you got it right here tonight. I unfortunately didn't make that prior race. This is the first time I'm calling a race here at Mugello, and I love this track. I've had a chance to drive it a couple of times. It's fantastic. It goes places. It gets up, it gets down. It's fast. It's flowing. It's a good time. And that long straightaways opportunities for our GTPs to get around our GT3s or to get a bottleneck into turn 1 as the case may be tonight. Yes. But it's really a great track for this kind of racing. Not all tracks are. Tonight's definitely is. And who wouldn't love the beautiful Italian flag curb striping around this place? It really makes for a classic Tuscany feel, and I'm really excited tonight.
Well, on the bright side, Larry, we won't have any GTP cars making 8-point turns tonight at turn number 1, like I think we had at Long Beach 2 weeks ago.
A little different.
Yeah, just a little bit different. That's right. It was the night of the college football national championship when
I was sick. I wasn't feling well. I don't know why I wasn't here.
Dog ate your homework, something like that. Yes. All right, so Larry, as we mentioned, it is a 90-minute race tonight here for Mugello, and we've got our drivers. They are out on track right now for their qualifying sessions. We give them 15 minutes to set the fastest lap for the starting grid, and what we do is we also give them just 4 flying laps. And it's once again a very large field here in the World Challenge. I think the last time I looked, it's somewhere around 48 or 49 drivers, all across 3 different classes.
43 so far, huge numbers.
Yeah, looking to take the checkered flag and win their class. And so let's do this, as we've got 2 different GT3 classes and, of course, our prototype cars. Let's quickly run down here as our drivers are on their out laps. Pick out for you the different classes. We're going to be taking a look right now at Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing in that number 16 Audi. He is one of our GT3 Pro drivers. You can pick out the GT3 Pro drivers because they are running, Larry, the Ricmotech red number boards on their cars, mirrors, windshield banners, and the end plates on the wings as well, as opposed to our GT3 AM drivers. Let's see if we can pick one out here, like Greg Brockway in the number 62 Ferrari, and the AM drivers, they've got the green number boards, like on the rear flank there of that Ferrari, mirrors, windshield banners, and end plates on the wings as well. And of course, our prototype racers, a number of different types of cars in that class, like Tanner Dibble, who is our provisional pole sitter for the moment in his Porsche prototype car, the 963 prototype. They've got the black number boards and windshield banners, etc. But you can pretty much pick out the difference between a prototype and a GT3 car. I mean, Larry can and I can, kind of.
There are days I struggle.
Yeah, it's a problem. But what we'll also do is we've got our first times now coming in. We will color code them on our ticker that you see on the left-hand side of your screen as well. And so you see is most or a good portion of our GTP cars have crossed the line, and we're starting to see some GT3 times now as well. And let's take a look at some of this time. Now, granted, this is for most of our drivers the very first flying laps that have come in, but Jordan Butler goes to the top of the leaderboard for the time being with a time of 131.83. That's almost a full second off of the best times that we saw in practice this week, where Bailey Petrowski and his D2D BMW was down in the 130.7s. So, but again, Jordan and the rest of the field, they have another 3 flying laps in order to pick up the pace here just a little bit. In GT3, Michael Brooks is your fastest driver at the moment in his Lamborghini, the Wrong Stuff Lamborghini. He's got a time in of 146.81. And Larry, that's already about a 10th faster than he ran in practice this week, where he was the fastest GT3 car.
It's going to be very competitive. A big field tonight. This should be tons of fun.
All right, so we'll wait here as a couple more times come in. Leo Dragota, now from Orion Racing, our second fastest driver in the class at the moment, as Dragota comes across and we're going to go on board with him right now as he's working his second flying lap in his Audi R8. And first lap in the books at a 147.56. Again, he is looking to knock about 0.8 off of that. We'll see here as he comes to the line if he can improve. And he does improve, but only to a 47.44. So he's still about 0.6 off of provisional pole there at the moment. Jeff Jacobs, currently your third fastest driver, third fastest driver in his SCCA Foundation BMW M4. And in GT3 AM, we take a look here and have had some changes. Kurt Roberts now in the number 195 Mercedes. He is your provisional pole sitter. And Roberts, and I believe this is Roberts' second round racing with us. He is running for Dead Bull Racing, Larry, and he's got a 147.55 in that machine. David Steiner in his BMW, and then Ilya Spiker in his Porsche, currently making up your top 3. Let's do this while we got a couple seconds, and we are going to have a guest join us here before we go racing. Let's quickly take a look back 2 weeks ago, and then also give you an update on the point standings here. And we'll start off with GT3 AM, where Ilya Spiker was your winner for Rockefeller Racing. We had a number of new drivers from Rockefeller join us starting 2 weeks ago at Long Beach, and one of them took the win. And Alexander Brown of Team Collusion finished in second. Great run for him. He started in 8th, worked his way up to second, and then Dominate Racing's David Steiner finished in 3rd after having started in 7th position. But this was the time where a lot of the folks who started up front in AM just couldn't hold on to those positions. Brown started 8th, Steiner started 7th, Michael Caffrey for Dominate started 9th, finished 4th. Mark Schindel from Schindel Racing started 10th, finished 5th. So great runs there. And if we take a look at the point standings right now, in GT3 AM, Alex Brown from Team Collusion is currently your points leader. He's got a 10-point advantage over Ian Patience from the Wrong Stuff. Then we've got Aaron Beaver, another 11 back from there. Mark Schindel, David Steiner, your top 5. You can see kind of spread out there in the top 5, and then things really start to tighten up. Should mention, Larry, that of course we had that extended caution period at Long Beach 2 weeks ago, and there were some issues with the iRacing system assigning stop and hold penalties to a number of drivers. The league organizers have decided to grant another drop week to our racers, and so instead of just one drop on this season, they'll have 2 drops in which to hopefully put that race 2 weeks ago out of their mind. I know there are some GTP racers that definitely want to. Didn't go good for many of them. Let's take a look at GT3 Pro, where Michael Brooks in his Wrong Stuff Lamborghini took the win. He started 3rd that day and then moved up to the lead. Ken Copeland, who started 5th in the Wrong Stuff Mercedes, he had a very strong run, was challenging Brooks there for a while. Matter of fact, the difference at the line, 1.4 seconds. Copeland finishes 2nd. Mike Dam from Orion finishes in 3rd, with Leo Dragota and Jeff Jacobs just off the podium. And if we take a look at the point standings, much like we saw with AM, there's a pretty big gap here with Ken Copeland now expanding his lead. He's got a 29-point advantage over Leo Dragota from Orion. Jeff Jacobs currently sitting third in the championship right now, 13 points back from Leo. He's got 151 points, and then Travis Schwenke another 12 points back from there. Schwenke and Brooks only separated by 2 points at the moment. And as you can see here, a little bit smaller pro field than we have in AM, but same deal, pretty spaced out there here early on in the season, as actually we're going into, well, this is round number 4. All right, let's take a look at GTP, where our pole sitter, DNA Motorsports' Tanner Dibble, took the win in his Porsche 963. Ben Rose, starting in 7th position, finished 2nd, with Jordan Butler for DNA Motorsports finishing in 3rd. Elias Halabi, and I believe what was his one of his first runs here in the series, came in 4th. Milan Harris in his Cadillac for Rockefeller, again a debut for Milan. He finished in 5th, and should mention that only those top 5 cars out of a field of almost, I think, 21, Larry, finished on the lead lap. Again, a lot of challenges in a very tight course for our prototype racers. Currently, Palakui Grant, he's got a 7-point advantage over his D2D sim racing teammate Bailey Petrowski for the lead in GTP. Tanner Dibble from DNA, then another 6 points back in 3rd. And then we've got Jordan Butler, his DNA teammate, another 8 points back from there. Ben Rose, currently sitting 5th in the championship, only a single point back from Butler. And again, is the largest GTP field that we've had in the World Challenge for a very long time. I think somewhere at this point we've had somewhere close to, I think, 26 or 27 entries across so far in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, this should be a nice, good night for that class. In fact, I think we've got one of the competitors lined up for an interview here to start the night off.
That is indeed the case, and he's sitting there waiting for us. So let's bring in Noah Borkowski. He is the driver of the number 24. We'll have to get the spelling or get the pronunciation from him on this, Larry, because, well, there are no vowels. I think, which gives me problems. And I think it's Lazy Rebel Racing.
It is, yeah.
There you go. And he is driving a Cadillac this season. Let's hear from him.
All right, Noah Borkowski has joined us here pre-race. And Noah, welcome to the series. Welcome to Mugello. What are your impressions so far running with us for a couple of rounds?
Driving standards are high, a lot better than the official races that iRacing puts on. So a lot of clean racing. I enjoyed a lot.
Well, that's always good to hear. Yeah, these guys really strive to keep it clean and to make it fun. But I tell you, there are some fast drivers in this series. Did you expect that level of competition? Is that why you decided to join for this one?
Absolutely. I definitely watched last season. It's what enticed me to get in on it this year. So I figure competing against high-level guys is going to bring up my level of skill with driving as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got, 14, 15 cars just here tonight. It's a big field. But you and it looks like at least another teammate have joined. Tell me a little bit about the Lazy Rebel Racing.
Yeah, so Lazy Rebel Racing is a new team, less than a year old. So getting the guys that we have gotten, probably about 40 guys in the community, has been exciting in the short amount of time that we have. It comes named after a company that me and 2 friends own. We also kind of decided to start the team, and we've had a lot of fun with it, running in special events, and now getting Austin, who is a quick driver, and another GT3 driver in on this league, who hasn't been able to join us yet, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll see him next week.
Okay, so growing team, that's always a good thing. You said you watched a couple races. As to how you guys found us, or did you have some other friends that kind of led you into this extreme motorsports and this Ricmotech series?
Watching the Ricmotech series was what got me into it, and then building this team, I kind of wanted to expand our driver field in this series a little bit, so I kind of got a couple of our guys in on it as well.
That's good. See, Greg, we are actually a good influence. People watch
Yes.
the races, they hear us talk about it, and Noah and the whole Lazy Rebel team come on board. So that is awesome.
Wow.
What are your thoughts so far? I guess, Noah, here going into tonight at Mugello, it's a relatively new track. Are you guys gotten comfortable with it? You think you got a chance to get up into the top 5, top 3 even?
Austin probably has the best chance to get up there. If he does, he's definitely got the pace for it. It's a nice track. It's got a nice flow to it. Both the amount of cars and the GT3 field. It's so big. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a game of patience to not get killed out there. So
yeah, patience definitely going to be a big part of tonight. Well, good luck. Have some patience. You and the whole Lazy Rebel team. Looking forward to seeing you guys with some strong finishes here. So good luck, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you in about an hour and 15.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody. That was Noah Borkowski from Lazy Rebel Racing. And
did I say an hour and 15? It's an hour and 30. We're 90 minutes tonight.
30 tonight. Yeah. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he won't just pull over with 15 minutes remaining. And Larry, I realized that we did not bring our viewers the track guide tonight, so we'll do our best to fill you in here as these drivers are going out on their pace lap.
We don't need a track guide. It's only like the first time this series has come to this track, so we won't hold that against you, Greg.
No, thank you. Yeah, exactly. And besides, I mean, we'll have Bobby Childs to lead everybody around for at least the first half lap.
We got 90 minutes. Maybe we'll roll that somewhere during the race. But we got cars on grid.
All right, so let's do this, Larry. Let's run down the starting order. I'll take a stab here at the GTP machines, where Tanner Dibble in his DNA Motorsports Porsche was your pole sitter with a qualifying time of 1:31 flat. Jordan Butler, his DNA teammate, will start second with Bailey Petrowski and Milan Harris. Bailey from D2D, Milan Harris making up row number 2. We've got Austin Cook from Lazy Rebel Racing. He's going to be starting 5th. You heard Noah. He's putting his money on Austin. John Kroom will start 6th for Rockefeller. Then we've got Ben Rose from DNA and Baron Glover from The Wrong Stuff. Bobby Childs and Ryan Reisman will make up row number 5 with Jonathan Bass and Elias Halabi starting 11th and 12th. Then we've got Noah Borkowski. He's going to start 13th today on the field with Bill Mulfield starting 14th for Mulfield Motorsports. Fernando Takahashi also for Mulfield starting 15th, looking for a little redemption after Long Beach. And Dominique Ford also from Mulfield starting 16th with Bruce Jackson tail in the rear.
All right, jumping over to the GT3s again. GT3 Pro is on the pole. That's Michael Brooks from The Wrong Stuff, putting it on the pole position here tonight. He'll be lined up alongside Orion's Leo Dragota on his outside. On the second row, it's going to be on the inside. Actually, it's going to be Kurt Roberts, I believe, will be the highest qualifying AM driver. He's on the inside of the second row. He'll be lined up alongside Ken Copeland from The Wrong Stuff. On row 3, it's going to be David Steiner from Dominate Racing, and he'll be lined up alongside Ilya Spiker from the Rockefeller Racing. Good, strong result there at Long Beach 2 weeks ago. On the next row, it's going to be Jeff Jacobs from SCCA Foundation, lined up alongside an AM driver there, Aaron Beaver, on his outside. Next row is going to be Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing and his teammate Rob Hartley making up the next row from Orion Racing. Following them, Lucas Dragota from Dragon Sport Racing be lined up alongside Dre Divock from The Wrong Stuff. Following behind them, Jeff Rooks from The Wrong Stuff and Chris Thorman from D2D Sim Racing. Then we'll have Alex Brown from Team Collusion and John Sterling, his teammate. Following them, Rockefeller Racing's Keith Stein, the Canadian, alongside Hutch Sport Racing's Josh Fidel. And then we'll have Andre Wedderburn from Wedderburn Racing. Following behind them, Mark Schindel, they believe should be lined up with Andre Wedderburn. And then we'll have Michael Caffrey and David Killo in the following row. Then we'll have Daniel Krim and Greg Brockway. Finally, on the last row, John Casey and Blake Bynum.
All right, there you go. That is the starting field as we've got the pace car bringing our racers around as we always do here in the World Challenge. We'll have our prototype cars. They'll take the green flag first. Our GT3 cars, they're going to pull back just a little bit, give a bit of a gap, and they will get their own call for the green flag from our real live starter. There is a start zone, and we'll see that as our drivers come onto the front straight. It'll be just as we'll see the Italian flag colored curbing on driver's right there. That will start it, but drivers are not allowed to pass until they get to the start finish line. So we'll see here, pretty long circuit here, 3¼ miles, 15 turns. A lot of good elevation change here, Larry, and a very challenging circuit again, used as a test track for Ferrari Of course, again, they primarily look to Fiorano for their street cars here, but this track gets a lot of use throughout the year, not just for the large race events.
A good opportunity for Tanner Dibble here on the pole tonight. He won last time out at Long Beach. He's sitting third in points, though. Pauliqui Grant, Billy Petrowski, those two drivers a couple rows back, they have got the points, the top two in the standings. So Tanner Dibble needs a good, strong result here to overtake that win. So we'll be watching for him. And of course, then you've got Jordan Butler, Mylan Harris, Austin Cook, a couple of guys that really aren't yet into that top 5. Let's see if they can make their moves tonight, get some good points.
All right, as the racers are coming through the final little chicane here that we have. These are Biandetti 1 and 2, turns 13 and 14. They're going to make a rundown. There's one final hairpin, turn 15, known as Bucine, and then they will come on to, again, what is a very long front straight. And you can see now that the GT3 field has dropped back considerably. The call from race control is for our GTP cars to tighten up just a little bit more for the start. And luckily, Larry, no fountain for these racers to get all bottled up in last year. Okay, so this is the start of the start zone right here. Exactly. As they are waiting for the start command from race control, and the start command is now given. We are racing here at Mugello, as looked like our outside pole sitter, Larry, didn't get the best of jumps there, and Jordan Butler in that 172 Acura, he now falls back into third position, as we've got Austin Cook and Mylan Harris side by side. Harris, for the moment, he's got about a half a car length now on Austin Cook as they go into turn number 3.
Yep, so far everybody's nice in line, playing nice. We got a car off in the background, though. Didn't catch who that was. That might have been, was that Austin Cook? I'll have to go back and see. Is it Borkowski?
That's Borkowski, yeah, Lazy Rebel. And he has lost the nose. Let's jump back to the GT3s, Larry, as they have now taken the green flag, and they make the run down to San Donato to the very first turn, that downhill hairpin, and make the run up. It is Michael Brooks, your leader, Leo Dragota, challenging for the lead right to the side of the Lamborghini. And there you have Ken Copeland, that's Michael Brooks' teammate, trying to push that Lamborghini forward. But as we now go into turns 5 and 6, it is Leo Dragota, your GT3 leader.
Oh, beautiful stuff from Dragota there to push and get on that outside and stay out there alongside Michael Brooks, and all the way through 1 and 2 and 3, and finally able to slip ahead as they came out of 3. Beautiful stuff from both drivers, both Brooks and Dragota. Super respectful racing, good and clean stuff, and even with that, those two are pulling ahead just a little bit of the battle behind with Butler, and then another second back to Harris and Cook and the others. But great start for sorry, that was in the GTPs. Great start there for Dragota and Brooks, getting ahead of Copeland and Schwenke. I can't read names. What am I, crazy here?
Well, maybe just a little. All right, so and so Copeland now has dropped a little bit further back. Oh, and we've got another driver that has gone off. I think that was Baron Glover spinning off to the inside there. Indeed, the number 13 Acura just now getting back underway as he loses 6 positions, falling back in the 14th position. Now here's a big thing here, Brian. Larry. Larry, who are you again? Getting word that Elias Halabi has got a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. And, you know, as I mentioned, you're not allowed to pass until you get to the start-finish line. Now, I don't know how that was working out at the front row when it looked like Jordan Butler just didn't get on the throttle and Petrowski was able to drive right by him. But unfortunately there, the number 28 machine going to have to make a run down the pit lane as we jump back over to GT3. And,
yeah,
and I apologize. I've been my announcing partner all weekend long was Brian, and I haven't done this to Larry since I don't know what, October,
like September. I'm surprised it took until 3 minutes of the race for you to call me Brian. I was waiting for it all weekend, just listening into what you were doing with your other gig.
Did you hear him call? Did you hear me call him Larry once?
I didn't. I wish I had. It would have been spectacular. But now let's turn to our attention to here. Elias
Yes.
Alabi, rough way to start this thing, getting that jump, has to serve that drive-through penalty. The only good, I guess, to that is this a 90-minute race. 90 minutes around this place is a long, long, long night. His night is by far not over. This isn't really going to end his evening. It's just going to give him track space to do whatever he needs to do out there. So we'll see if Elias, and we know that based on 2 weeks ago, hey, you never know, there could be a full course caution that he could bring him back into the crowd. But we'll get back to Elias in just a little bit as we are watching this great battle here. But Leo Dragota and Michael Brooks just battling it out here in those GT3s, nose to tail. And then right behind them, Ken Copeland, who always seems to be just a little bit of a slow and settled starter. And then he comes on strong with his strong pace. Yeah, with having a teammate now between Brooks in front of him and Copeland, that's a strong combination to challenge the Orion driver there, Leo Dragota, because Leo's teammates are back. They're back, Travis Schwanke, Rob Hartley. They're back there a little bit and not really able to offer any help. And take a look at this already. The Lamborghini's going to go alongside the Audi, just like turn 1, lap 1. This time, though, they're swapped. Who's got the inside and outside? And it's Dragota still holding that line as they come out of turn 1 into 2. So much flow. Oh, I love this track.
I know.
Oh, we've got battles back here.
Wide. Yeah, that's the
other
85
Brooks.
machine. That's Jeff Brooks in the Audi, trying to make a move on the other Dragota on the Porsche, the Dragon Sport Porsche of Lucas Dragota, formerly.
And there's contact a little bit in there. That's Ilya Spiker.
And
Spiker was the odd man out there.
That's right, and Spiker from Rockefeller Racing looked like maybe he had, as he was trying to get back underway, a little bit more contact. He now loses 6 positions or so, Larry. Falls all the way back to 11th in AM, actually 9 positions since the start of the race. So we'll see here if he can catch back up to this field as we then jump back to GTP. Haven't checked in with them, where Tanner Dibble just reset last fast lap. He's running about 0.3 of a second faster at the moment than Petrowski or Butler. Of course, you know, as we've seen here, and already starting to see the GTP cars, Larry, on lap number 4, starting to lap the GT3 field. It typically takes a good 2, sometimes 3 laps for these GTP cars to get some heat in the tires, and you know, for where they can really start to feel comfortable and lean on these cars through the corners, even with all that aerodynamic downforce here, and very, very close up at the front for the time being, and we'll see how they all work through the traffic.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy. And it is still a good 3.2, 3.3 mile track around here, but with 43 cars out there running, or 41 at least, look like they're still on the track. That is a lot of traffic at this stage of the race. And one long straightaway, everything else is kind of this continuous flow of these short little bursts, lots of little 90s and some sweepers and things. Makes it difficult to get around. So if you're in these GTPs, finding that room, it's not the widest track. It's you know, not the narrowest either, but you can see here as we've gone on board Billy Petrowski.
Right here, yeah,
on board Petrowski, you can see it just looks like rush hour traffic around Rome at this point, the way these guys are trying to weave their way through this traffic.
Well, and you know, and it's still such early days here in the GT3 race areas. We're watching trains now of 6 and 7 GT3 cars.
Oh no, that's contact. That's Thorman going sideways. Is that Petrowski?
He is with, yes, Bailey Petrowski there. So Petrowski, who was running in 3rd, he's now going to drop back into 7th or 8th. We've got another one of our GT3 cars off, and I believe
it's a couple.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw another one of the D2D GTPs. It was Bobby Childs. That's the other one. Couple of them going slow here. So Petrowski and Childs both slow in the same corner on the same lap. Don't know what's up with Bobby, as he's just slowing down out there. Let's see if we can cue up a replay, as Jonathan's going to work on that. But the traffic continues. Is they're going to go 3 wide? Maybe not quite. That's Fernando Takahashi.
All right, let's take a look and see what happened with Bobby Childs as we were watching his teammate Petrowski get into trouble here.
There's Bobby running on the outside and just misses that car to his left. He goes off and hits the wall with the left front of the car. Maybe has some pretty big damage there for Bobby, unfortunately. I said the graphics are great, though. I've got to give credit to Bobby there. I know he does the paints on these cars on the D2D team. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he had just put together a whole spotter's guide for us, Larry. The only problem is we didn't see any cars with a missing nose. Let's... one of these days I'm going to get fired from this gig. All right, anyway. Let's jump back to GT3 where we do have a new leader. It is Michael Brooks.
Yep. Got
around the Audi of Dragotta, and so right now that Orion Audi, it is it's being
and that's Jordan Butler coming on through.
Yeah. And so Dragotta there, he's got the bookends now with the two different wrong stuff machines. Ken Copeland still just hanging back there, but yeah, you know, we talked about how this traffic might play out for the GTP racers there, and we can see now is Butler has opened up a couple second advantage, almost a 5-second advantage over Austin Cook after that melee.
Yeah. Well, one thing we don't know yet, and I think Jonathan's probably working on a replay queuing up with this, would be Tanner Dibble is in the pits under repair right now. So we're going to see if we can get something queued up on that here in a second.
All right, so let's take a look. Tanner Dibble, who was our race leader.
He was just involved right there in front of Petrowski. And you can see him slowing on the right side of the track. And he goes sliding, just maybe caught a little bit of damage from that. And now he's in the pits getting that repaired. You can see him call the tow right there. So there goes your pole sitter out of this race. Jordan Butler now to the front. Austin Cook, Mylon Harris, your front three right now in GTP. Now it's the pressure. Ken Copeland is putting that pressure on Leo Dragotta. The Mercedes, that great straight line speed. Gets a good exit here at turn one. Going to try and go around the outside. If he can hold it, he'll have the inside for 3 on Leo Dragotta, but he's not able to. Dragotta, great job there in that Audi, holding that position.
All right, as our top 3 drivers now starting to gap Kurt Roberts. And look at that Kurt Roberts in the 195 Mercedes, that red and black Mercedes. He is now running 4th in GT. He is your AM leader. Another Mercedes, that is Aaron Beaver directly behind, but about 2 seconds behind. So nice little gap there that Roberts has managed to open up, and he's got a good gap ahead and behind. It gives the GTP racers, Larry, I think, a good margin that they can use to get around them.
Yeah, this is just absolute mayhem. As Ricmotech now trying to get around Roberts here. The AM leader going to play a little bit conservative, make sure that he keeps his race alive. An hour and 30 minutes is a long, long night. You don't want to get knocked out by interclass interference here at the 11-minute mark. So good job there for the AM leader, Kurt Roberts, in his Mercedes.
All right, a little bit further back in the GT field, Larry, we've got Robert Hartley. He is sitting currently 5th in Pro, and he's got Steiner and his teammate Schwenke just ahead. And Larry, Michael Brooks encountered an issue. Brooks now dropping down through the field in his Lamborghini. We just saw a number of racers go by him. He was your leader.
He's back, but not after losing a lot of time. I wonder if he got a little loose coming out of that final corner, turn 15, which kind of goes on a little bit downhill. We got a replay queued up. Yeah, so he's got a couple of GTPs around him, and that is in that turn 15, the final long sweeping hairpin.
Keeps the car to the inside.
Was there contact?
Maybe.
He manages, I think, to avoid the tire barrier on track left, but not before losing about 20 seconds of time.
And it didn't help that he just clipped the cement wall on the retaining wall on the inside there, trying to get the car back out on track. Wow, that's unfortunate.
He's about 16 seconds back now, so we'll see. Again, we've seen a lot of craziness in this early stages, so don't need to really pack it in quite yet. There's still a long time to go in this race. A pit stop still to be had somewhere in this race tonight.
Yeah, that's going to put Leo Dragotta back into the lead. And Larry, you got it, especially with this longer race. Of course, we are going to have pit stops. We're looking at somewhere for the GT3 cars, for their pit window opening up somewhere around lap 22. Long way to go before we get to that pit window. Oh yeah, and there you go.
Oh no,
Brooks has definitely got some issues going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he spins, and now it looks like, is that?
Yeah, That
Keith
is
Stein going on by,
Stein,
I think.
That was what the 80.
Stein now in front of him. It looks like Wedderburn and the Porsche right there in front of him. And then right behind them, David Killow, Michael Caffrey. A big long train right now as your pole sitter and early leader Michael Brooks starting to struggle here about 7 or 8 laps into this
more
thing.
Contact just ahead of Brooks.
Wow.
And that was Keith Stein, I think, that we just saw go off. And the other driver involved, we'll have to
catch that one.
Yeah, we'll have to catch the other machine there. It might, and it looks like John Kroom in his GTP car. Was that Dragotta?
It's the one. No, it's the 151.
Well, it was the 151 that went around, and Lucas Dragotta that had issues there. But Larry, we now have, it looks like John Kroom in his GTP Cadillac has dropped down through the field all the way to the back of the pack. It looks like he is still circulating. Let's take a look and see what happened to him. Where if you can pick this one up.
Yep. All right. So there's Kroom coming down all by himself at this point, making that sweeper at 1 and just goes off straight. I wonder if he had a sim issue there.
Yeah.
Didn't quite see anything in particular, but may have lost something on the sim, unfortunately, for Kroom.
Yeah. So a lot of action happening now. We talked earlier, of course, that earlier wreck with Bailey Petrowski. He is in the pits getting repairs. Tanner Dibble is getting repairs. We didn't see what happened to Chris Thorman in his GT3 Lamborghini. He is in the pits getting repairs as well.
Well, he was in that same incident there, I think, with Petrowski.
Yeah.
They may have him out of this thing all at that same moment. But I will say it looks like Ilya Spiker may have managed to get back out. He's on track again, so that's good. He was our AM winner 2 weeks ago at Long Beach. So we'll see if he's going to play the long game here tonight.
You see their incident between the 83 and the 67 car is
That's
now
Michael
under
Brooks, and the 67 is Alex Brown.
Brown, yeah.
And it says it's been reviewed, waiting for a ruling. As we get a good look there at our leader, Leo Dragotta, still under pressure from a wrong stuff driver, and that driver's Ken Copeland, and that Mercedes behind him as they're just watching the mirrors, watching these GTPs go flying on by. I love the sequence of this track, by the way. Down here at this turn 9 all the way up around, it's just such a blast. And then you go through this 10 and 11 kind of chicane section.
And they may have a little bit of a pause with having to take a look at look for those GTP cars. That was Elias Halabi in the Porsche who had just got around, who'd gotten around Dragotta. Now Halabi and also Bill Molefield just ahead, or actually running a lap down. But from the looks of it, well, actually, I think Jordan Butler and Austin Cook going to be coming up on this group here fairly soon. As we took a look backwards, we didn't see them there as they're coming into the final corner. There's actually Butler. So, yeah, Butler's now coming through. He just came through, I think, 13 or 14 is coming into that pit down into the hairpin here momentarily.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good start to this thing now, about 12 seconds up on Austin Cook. And so with Dibble having his issues early on in this race, Petrowski having issues, really opening the door for Jordan Butler, who I believe came in tonight, if I got this right, in 4th place in the points. So I was mentioning earlier that Tanner Dibble maybe was his opportunity night with Petrowski down behind him, as well as Public Week Grant. But really now it's looking like Jordan Butler who's comes in tonight in 4th with a good chance.
Yeah, Butler and Ben Rose, his DNA teammate, was only a single point back, currently sitting in 5th. And you know, so well, not gonna move on. Oh yeah, he's sitting in 4th position right now.
Apologies to Ben. No, my timing screen doesn't show him. It takes a little while for it to refresh. This is Schwenke and Aaron Beaver. Aaron in the Mercedes, Schwenke in the Audi. Schwenke pressuring now as they head through that right-left sequence there at 10 and 11. Lots of pressure here by the Audi driver on Beaver, who's running second in the AM category. So Beaver's got his own battle, which right in front of him belongs to Kurt Roberts, and that's a spin for Schwenke.
Wow, as Travis Schwenke goes around trying to get around the Rockefeller Racing machine of Beaver. Beaver, who just moved over from Delta Simtech there and running in second. That is going to drop Schwenke now back behind Jeff Jacobs and Jeff Brooks. And we'll put him, like 8th or 9th in GT altogether, 5th in Pro.
Yeah, right. And it's pretty far back to drop, and you can see these happening. We saw them earlier with Michael Brooks, and now we see it happening with Travis Schwenke. Again, long race tonight. These guys were all in this for the season, but this could be a great opportunity for those guys who really put the work in on Mugello to learn this track. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe some guys didn't get as much practice to learn the subtleties around here as maybe some of the other drivers did. So let's keep our eye on folks like Mr. Roberts winning in the GT3M right now, or Jordan Butler. These drivers may have put some extra time in this week as we go on board with Lucas Dragotta. Lucas, the other brother to Leo, different teams. Lucas here in the Dragon Sport.
Not teammate anymore.
Not teammates anymore, but I think they're across the basement from each other wherever they're racing. He's in a battle with Alex Brown. This is for 5th in the AM category. And then right in front of them, of course, should be Schwenke. Good little scrap going on here between the Porsche and that Ferrari of Alex Brown.
Reminds me in another series that we call on Apex Racing TV with Jameson Huffman and Justin Huffman, father and son, that their rigs were literally right next to one another. And I think in the first season of this other league, I think father Justin actually reached over and slapped his son when he got beat one time.
I can neither confirm nor deny that may have happened at my house once or twice. I completely support these actions.
Yeah,
big slide there for Lucas going into, this is down in turn, I can't tell which one that is actually.
I believe that's over 12. Or
I'm not sure which one. That might have been, yes, that might have been down in turn 12. Big slide though, allowing a little bit of a gap now to Alex Brown. Alex pulling ahead in that Ferrari, of course. That Ferrari is just natural here at home at the Mugello, of course.
That's right. It gets all the benefits, Larry. None of the detractions. All right. As Takahashi, I believe it is, going on by there on the front straight, and the front straight now looks a lot less hectic than it was 4 laps ago, as the field now has started to spread out, and of course, as some of the field now is. Well, actually, it looks as though the majority of the racers have made it out of the pit lane that were down in the pits.
Yeah, the only one I know of is Bobby Childs, I believe, has called it a night. He's cracked a beer, and he'll just sit back and watch, I think. But the rest, not sure if John Kroon has rejoined or not. But the rest of the field looks like they took their repairs and sent it back out, including, I think, our pre-race interviewee, Noah Barkowski. He's back out there as well.
Yep, currently starting lap number 9, about 3 laps down from the rest of the GT field, or from the front of the GT field. And Larry, Ken Copeland starting to make some moves here. He's started to tighten things up now. He's only about a half second back. And last time around the circuit was 0.2 faster. And we can see there he closes it down even more.
Yeah, that Mercedes is always, it seems to be every week, and maybe it's his style, maybe it's the car. It's kind of a bit of a slow starter. Not that slow, he's never really slow. But relative to the Audis, the Lamborghinis, the Porsches, he tends to be a conservative start. But you get to this 20, 30 minutes in, and suddenly his pace just comes on, and he wears you down. He just grinds away. So Leo's really got to be watching.
And just very consistent that he manages to keep the tires underneath him pretty much through an entire stint, and sometimes through the entire race. That the car just appears to get stronger and stronger as these races go on. Now, again, an extra 15 minutes tonight than our normal length races may make the difference, but I would imagine that Audi probably a little bit more difficult to drive at the limit than the Mercedes.
Yeah, and you look at the way Copeland's come into this round. He is the overall points leader in GT3 Pro. He had that second at Mosport start out the season. solid, consistent performance there. Had a second 2 weeks ago at Long Beach there. Again, solid performance despite all the long delays and the yellows and all that stuff that went on. And then he, of course, had the controlling win at Daytona in the middle in there, where he basically controlled that race, even pushing his teammate along for a while. Just amazing stuff. He's been super consistent. This is the way he races. So if you're Leo Dragota and you're the other competitors, you got Jeff Jacobs, Travis Schwanke, some of the other guys in there. You've got to be that consistent and fast if you're going to try and win a season championship against Copeland. There's already 3 rounds. There's 2 seconds and a first.
Yeah, and so Larry, two weeks ago at round number 3, we had talked briefly about some of the balance of performance changes that have been put in place by the league organizers to try to more equalize the field, and they've made a few more changes. We noted there at round 3 that the BMW appeared to be the bogey chassis, and they made some changes to some of the other chassis to bring them closer. One of the changes that we have now, though, is that we have a little bit of additional weight on the Audis, about 3 kilograms, which isn't a great deal, but it is a little bit of extra weight nonetheless. They've also dialed back the horsepower slightly on the Audis, and the Mercedes that 2 weeks ago had a little bit of weight thrown at it, it's been removed and is now running at the standard weight.
Okay. Well, they continue to try and balance things out. I'd say it's pretty solid here tonight, knowing we've got a really good battle brewing here between an Audi and a Mercedes. And then, of course, you've got the Mercedes leading a GT3 AM. So, and even a BMW up there in a provisional podium spot there for Jeff Jacobs in GT3 Pro. And there's a good camera shot of Jeff. Good timing right in front of an Audi. And, of course, that's Rob Hartley in that Audi right behind him. Is they've got one of our wrong stuff. Is that Baron Glover, perhaps? In the GTP going on by? It's one of the wrong stuff drivers. It is Baron Glover.
That is Baron Glover, yes.
I get one call at least right tonight.
Man, you're still 5 ahead of me. All right.
Don't worry, Brian. You'll fix it.
Yeah.
All right. There's Jeff Brooks in an Audi. He's trying to chase down Rob Hartley. Although Jeff in the AM, Hartley in the Pro. They're still in similar Audis, and to try and get up into there. Let's see if Brooks can make some moves. Really wants to catch up to David Steiner, who's in the BMW, but Steiner now is about 4 seconds up the road. Steiner doesn't have anybody he's with right now. He's got clean air. But I think if Jeff can sort of latch on to Jeff Jacobs and Rob Hartley and Jeff Brooks, maybe he can help himself out.
Might get pulled up there. Yeah, exactly.
Just pull up to Steiner. So we'll keep an eye on this trio. See if over the next 20-30 minutes before we get to the pit stops, if they close in.
All right, once again, Ken Copeland taking a little bit of time off of Leo Dragota's lead, and now down to less than half a second.
Yeah, at this point, half a second is just a good, comfortable margin to sit back, maybe save some fuel, just kind of hang out. And this kind of a track, I would think fuel savings may be possible if you can get a good run through a corner. The little short bursts of straightaways are enough to get some draft advantage, and then just sort of lift going through some of the spots.
Into the next corners, yeah.
Yeah, this could be a place you could do a little bit of fuel save.
Like right in here.
Yeah. And just sort of let the draft pull you in. So that might be what he's doing. So, Greg, is tonight a one-stopper or a two-stopper for 2 different classes?
It should be a one-stopper tonight.
Okay, that's good.
And yeah, as we mentioned, we're getting a little bit closer to the pit window here for our GTP cars. It should be opening up somewhere around lap 26, so maybe another 7-8 laps, and a very short pit window, only about 5 laps long. And in GT3, lap 22, so we're still about 8 laps off of. There's about 7 laps off of that window opening up.
So Copeland may just be biding his time. Maybe he's aiming for that pit window to make his pass, either a bit of undercut or overcut, or we'll just kind of wait and see what he chooses to do. Doesn't seem to be that aggressive right now. He's not staying close enough to really get a great draft pass on this straightaway. He does look like he's just kind of chilling back there in that Mercedes.
Getting a nice whiff of the draft going. Oh, and for a second there, he tried to get a little bit of pull from the GTP car that worked its way through, and I think that was
Petrowski,
yeah,
one of our D2D sim racing entries.
Petrowski, our previous season champion, our season 8 champion in GTP. I'm sure not very happy. He's sitting down right now in 11th position in GTP and not making a ton of headway after that early incident.
No, and I think it's going to be tough. I think last season it was kind of a two-man show. Petrowski and Rose really dueled it out there. And as we'll catch a replay here of Austin Cook.
Oof. And Larry, he didn't drop a wheel or anything. It looked as though he just maybe either got out of the throttle as he thought that the car might have been running wide and induced some liftoff oversteer, or maybe just overcorrected for something that he didn't need to correct for.
Perhaps, yeah. Get a little traffic crazy here through this turn 9 and 10 sequence. They head around to this next downhill hairpin here at 11. So lots of craziness. Bill Mulfield in that number 911 Porsche, not a Porsche 911, of course.
No, and that's only because the 963 was already taken. And Elias Alabi in another Porsche, not a 928 or a 28 for that matter.
It is not. That's Elias's. Not even a. It is also a Porsche. I'm surprised he didn't go with 928. Yeah. Elias, of course, on a bit of a recovery. Remember, he was given that penalty for jumping the start. So keep your eye on him. He's got some pretty good pace. We'll check in with him from time to time and see how he's doing. Speaking of how are they doing, this is the battle here. Rob Hartley, Jeff Brooks, Jeff Jacobs, 3 wide. Who's going to have it into 1? It's a whole German car dealership. Are they clean? I see contact. Jeff Brooks is going to lose out.
And Jeff Brooks, for a moment there, Larry, we had talked just a couple laps ago about, and wow, and Brooks had to check up as we saw there Jeff Jacobs check up a little bit going into the corner. And we had talked a couple laps ago if Jeff Brooks could latch onto these two and have them pull him up to the next AM driver in line, which is David Steiner, a couple seconds up the road. And what we just saw there is that Brooks was, for a moment there, in position to kind of just leapfrog these two and maybe do it on his own. But as we see here, he's
the 3 wide. Yeah, 3 wide's a really tough, really a dangerous move there. A good idea probably for Jeff to back out of it. Now, Jeff himself in that battle with David Steiner, he's lost a couple seconds. Remember, it was about 4 seconds. We checked it a few laps ago.
He's now 6+.
Yes, so that's not helped his cause a little bit. Hartley in that mix was the aggressor. He got in there, he held his line tight, managed to dispatch of Jeff Brooks, gets up alongside Jeff Jacobs, and then holds his line through 2 and stays in front through 3. And now we'll see if Hartley, who drove the whole sequence like he's draft passing in a Miata, except it's in an Audi, and we'll see if he can now pull away from these guys. He's in 3rd right now in that pro category. He's a long ways back, about 16 seconds from that battle of Dragotta and Copeland up in the front. So, but he's positioning himself at least to try and pull in some hardware here. We'll see if he's able to.
And I'm sure not at the top of mind for him right now, but Jeff Jacobs currently running 3rd in the championship behind Hartley's teammate Leo Dragotta, and so being able to put another position between them there will possibly net Dragotta a little bit more of a margin going into the next round.
Yeah, Jacobs trying to chase down Dragotta, but trying to hold off Travis Schwenke, who's had his issues already here tonight. Michael Brooks is another one. He was coming into this round in 5th in points. We saw him having his issues. He's still out there circulating. He is one of the quickest cars in the field, to no one's surprise. But he's going to have to work his way back up, currently 7th. My screen says 7th. The timing board says 6th.
Oh, let's see. 6th. 6th for the 83 car, behind Alex Brown. 7th right now. This is kind of a big surprise now. I believe, Larry, that 2 weeks ago at Long Beach was his first event of the season. Dre Divock from the Wrong Stuff. He is mired all the way back 7th in pro, and quite a distance back from Brooks. here. If we take a look, he's got 7 AM drivers between he and his teammate. All right, Larry, tell you what, while we're here right up at the top of the hour, why don't we take a quick break? We'll thank some of our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, I think we're going to have the entire pit sequence here ready to go as we take our viewers to the checkered flag here from Mugello, where you're watching round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker, and we'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to Mugello for round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech not Touring Car Cup World Challenge, presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker. And of course, we want to thank Buttkicker once again for offering up a Buttkicker Gamer Plus package to one lucky racer here in the World Challenge, a $279.95 value that will be awarded at the end of season banquet. And if you want to turn up the immersion in your sim rig, visit thebuttkicker.com. All right, Larry, let's do this. We've got a little bit of time before our drivers start to their pit sequences. We don't want to leave Kevin Ford out of any of the fun here this evening from Mugello. So let's show everybody tonight's track guide to Mugello from Kevin Ford.
Welcome, everyone, to Circuit Day Mugello here in beautiful Tuscany, Italy. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around a 3.2 mile, 15-turn road course. It is a big one, but I'll tell you, this place has everything for every driver out there. Well, let's go ahead and start our track guide around this incredible course. As you'll notice, our pit area to the right, our main grandstands to the left as we get up through the gears and cross the stripe. and make our way on this long track down towards turn 1. Up over this little bit of a hill here, you'll see a lot of overtaking opportunities coming down into this heavy brake zone of turn 1. Get that car right to the bottom. We'll come to throttle. We'll track out, but we've got to come right back track right to set up our left-hander through 2 and through 3. We'll let that car roll through center, come back to throttle, get a nice track out, smooth off of that exit there. This will bring us down to turn 4. Another set of S's here, back to the left, and we'll lift, come right back to the right back to throttle, and then this brings it down to my favorite part of the track, into turn 6. Take a little bit of curb on this inside, very fast section. We'll lift just a little bit to get that car to rotate on the bottom, wide open up through here. We will lift as we come into 8, get that car to rotate, and then up into 9. We'll lift here, bring that car to the apex, right back to throttle, let it track out. Come up over another blind section, now down into turn 10. Swing out, catch 11 here, come right back to throttle, a little bit of track out there. This will bring us up into the carousel right-hander of 12. Another very fun corner here. You really have to have patience with the throttle, let that corner come to you. Get a good launch up off the exit. Now through 13, we'll take a lot of curb through here, through 14. And then ultimately towards the final turn, turn 15, the carousel here at Mugello. Patience here once again. Let that car get to the bottom, wide open up off the exit, back up through the gears. There we go. There's your track guide for this amazing course here in Tuscany, Italy, the Mugello circuit. Thank you for being with us.
And welcome back. Thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of Mugello. And other than watching our overall leader, Jordan Butler, there he is, almost get together with Lucas Dragotta in the Dragon Sport Porsche. You didn't miss all that much. Here, not many changes up at the front of the field. As best I can tell, we've still got Leo Dragotta in the Orion Audi, with Ken Copeland only about a half a car length back. And we see here a little bit further back in the field. Here's actually a big change, Larry, as the Audi there. You're just watching. Oh, that was actually Travis Schwenke behind Jeff Brooks and Jeff Jacobs. Robert Hartley has moved enough out of that picture to separate himself out. But here's again is that battle for the lead in GT3.
Yes, we get closer and closer to the halfway mark. It does seem like a good conservative run here for Ken Copeland, who's just biding his time behind Leo Dragotta. This could be a good run all the way to the finish if Dragotta can maintain this pace all the way to the end. But look how they've got to really watch that traffic. It's one of the wrong stuff GTPs goes on by, just makes it tough. And of course, then one of our Frito Sport Ferraris pulling off to the side. There might be Casey.
That's John Casey. Casey's the blue one, blue and black.
And then Michael Caffrey in that gold-colored Mercedes, just slowing down to let them by as well. These guys all recognizing what's going on here with this 1-2 battle. It's just, this has been going really since Michael Brooks had his issue. These two continued and haven't really let up. And there's Michael right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Michael Brooks, he's starting to make his way up through the field. He's got Alex Brown in the probably the Ferrari directly ahead.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's got still such a long way to go to get up to Travis Schwenke. I think we're running what about?
Yeah, he's about 10 seconds back from Schwenke, about 30 seconds back from the leaders to go to Copeland. But, you know, with pit stops, and we've seen full course yellows, you just never know. So Michael's going to try and do what he can to salvage points. I think comfortably, I think he can catch by the end of the night Jacobs and Schwenke. They're about 9 seconds up. I don't know if he'll be able to catch Hartley. Hartley's on a pretty good pace now once he's able to dispatch the Jeffs. And the Jeffs, of course, Brooks and Jacobs.
All right, Larry, looks like we've got our pit sequences starting, and starting with our leader, Jordan Butler, in the number 172 Acura. And we'll see if he is taking some tires as well.
Well, you know, it looked like he was about to come up onto a pack of GT3s.
It was a good time.
I think it's a really good opportunity for him. May have decided better to come in now, have a chance to clear a track. Right behind him, Austin Cook. Lazy Rebel Racing driver on his way. He's had a pretty good pace on his laps as well tonight. He had fallen down the order a little bit. Let's see if this pit exchange can help him move up the order.
And you know, Larry, as you and Noah Borkowski were talking about patience through that interview, all I could think of was Ian Patience, who obviously isn't here this evening. The antithesis of patience. All right, here's Austin Cook is up in the air. All right, as Butler returns to action.
All right, we'll see as he does come out in 6th. The long pit stop, though. 49 seconds in his pit stall. That should be hopefully good enough to get to the conclusion of this thing. So we'll see as pits. Now, Austin Cook only in his pit stop there for 32 seconds. So a net of about 17 seconds better for Cook than for Butler.
It's going to be whether or not Butler took enough, or probably whether or not Cook took enough fuel to get him to the end.
Do wonder about that as well, or did something happen with Butler and his stop that extended it a little bit longer than he intended? So we'll keep an eye on these couple of stories as the rest of the pit stops get underway here shortly. Jeff Jacobs hitting in
for the time being, that's going to move Milan Harris, who finished 5th 2 weekends ago at Long Beach, up into the lead. And Jacobs appears to be getting tires, but I believe in the GT3 cars, Larry, they can change, I think, all 4 tires while the fuel is ongoing, so no real loss in time there. Coming out.
Oh, that's Jonathan Bass. Yeah, and his Cadillac having a bit of a spin down there, and try to see if that's down in turns 12, 13, I think, somewhere in that area.
Let's take a look and see what happened to him here as he comes under braking. And he tucks down. Was that our lead, our former leader that got into the back of him, or was that Ben Rose that got into the back of him?
That's Butler if it's 172. Yeah, so that's under review now. The contact in Butler and Bass. Go ahead, Greg.
And that could have some very big implications.
Did the Butler do it? Come on, it just writes itself. Oh, Cook on his way back in. This is an interesting development. We just talked about how his pit stop wasn't very long. Did he short fuel the car and didn't mean to leave that early, or did he get a drive-through for speeding in the pits and had to serve it?
And that's the case. That is exactly what happened, Larry.
Yeah.
And made sure the pit speed limiter was on.
You know what? Watch the end of his pit lane. You see how he dives over? I watched when he came out of the pit lane the first time. He cut across early, and I wonder if he got an unsafe pit exit because he crossed the white line before passing the blue cone on driver's right. That was a penalty, as Aaron Beaver now is pitting in the EM category in his Mercedes.
Yeah, so the Rockefeller Racing driver now continuing to fuel. He is one of the first, of course, Jeff Jacobs, I believe, the first of our GT3 racers on a regular pit cycle to come in. Beaver the second, and a big change, as Ken Copeland now moves to the lead, gets around Leo Dragota on lap number 26, and let's see if that makes a difference. We're going to try and bring that and see exactly where on track that got done if we can. Here it goes.
It looks
coming
like
down
the
front straight, Larry.
Yep. Just had too good of a run to pass up. Decided, let's just go with it. And he has the inside position. Dragota just challenges for a minute. Said, nah, it's not worth it. I'll just tuck in behind as they come off of turn 1, head towards 2.
Yeah, did not put much of a fight up there. And see how Dragota does. Maybe thinks he can get it back on the pit sequence.
And Dragota is in the pits.
There you go. And that would be one good reason why he didn't put up a fight there, Larry.
He's led probably about 20 of these 25 laps here. And he's going to come in and take his stop. This will put some separation between he and his rival. We'll see if a lap or so in before Copeland comes in, as Kurt Roberts, the leader in AM, comes in for his pit stop.
And Travis Schwenke from Orion, he is going to pit as well. So we know Copeland is your leader. David Steiner running second now in GT. He's your AM leader. Robert Hartley running third in GT. Then Jeff Brooks, Michael Brooks, and then Alex Brown. Those are your top 6 drivers. And it basically goes Pro-Am, Pro-Am, Pro-Am. And then Travis Schwenke, technically fifth in class.
A few other pit stops happening. John Casey, the Ferrari came in. Blake Bynum in the Porsche has entered his pit stall. So there's a big flurry of pit lane activity right now. Lucas Dragotta, Mark Chandel is on their way in now for their stop. There's Lucas looking for his pit. He didn't stop. I wonder if Lucas missed his pit stall.
Well, he's coming over now.
All that traffic did he actually stop? He did. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Didn't want to dive over early. Me a little off guard. So we'll see. Copeland hasn't stopped yet. Of course, he's the race leader now. Hartley hasn't either. Hartley has been one of the quicker cars out there in the last probably 20 minutes or so. Still 17 seconds back.
All right, Milan Harris pits in from the lead in his Cadillac. Almost hits the wall.
And I think I see a Ken Copeland coming in right behind them, your leader in GT3.
Yep, here he comes. This is the wrong stuff Mercedes of Ken Copeland. That's going to move David Steiner in about 15 seconds or so up into the lead, and it won't. Well, Steiner's in.
Every
and
class
Robert
leader
Hartley
decided to come in at the same time.
Yep.
Whether it was Harris or Copeland or Steiner, all came in. And look at this train coming in right now. This is just past the halfway point. Shouldn't be surprised. Looking at keeping our eyes on Jordan Butler, of course, who had the overall lead when this all started. Now just trailing Rose and Takahashi that haven't stopped yet.
And Michael Brooks there, who was our pole sitter tonight. He is on the pit lane.
Oh, all kinds. I hear ruling is going on.
The 12 car.
That's Trey Divock is the 12 car.
Yeah.
Who's going to get
limit
something.
Violation, Larry, which is going to, I believe that's going to take away or assign him penalty points.
May give him a drive-through black flag for exceeding those limits. We'll see how the stewards decide to rule, but I can tell you this track, you can pick up a lot of 1X off tracks around this place. It just flows. You just want to run that thing across those curves a little bit far, and for Dre, it looks like he may have done that a few too many times.
1 race penalty point for 21 incident points. And if you go up to 26 and there's still half a race remaining here, Larry, then you'll get a drive-through penalty.
Well, he was just given a black flag in the sim.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
so already got
in.
Yeah, already got his 1 point. Yeah, there you go. There's the number 12.
That Porsche does not have a very smooth front end.
No.
It has seen a few things. All right, so real quick, Jeff Brooks now leading AM and leading all of GT3, but hasn't made his stop yet.
And
there
now,
he is, right
just as you say it, here he comes. And that should move Ken Copeland back to the lead, Larry, as Copeland managed to hold off Leo Dragotta, and they
are close, though.
Yes.
Look at the two of them. You can see that Mercedes there of Copeland just ahead of Dragotta in the Audi. So good little battle now with what we'll call about 38 minutes to go here in this 90-minute mega marathon here of the Ricmotech World Challenge. So now you got to settle in the next maybe 20-30 minutes. You just sort of keep it close, and we'll see in the last 10 if Dragotta's got anything for Copeland.
All right, Larry, and Ben Rose, our leader in GTP, still has not pitted in. Let's see if he comes in this time. I had the pit window for GTP probably extending out to lap 31 or 32. He's currently working his 33rd lap. So we may see him, and there you go. He comes in. There you go.
Well done. Look at you doing his fuel calculations for him.
As long as he doesn't ask me how many gallons he needs to get to the end, I think we'll be fine.
Come on, math is definitely your favorite suit.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. And my guess, Larry, is he's going to need 19 gallons, well, probably less than 19 gallons to get to the end.
Well, this is interesting because Jordan Butler, very closely, there he goes, will now take the lead back in this race, has the longest pit stop of all the GTP cars, and still will hold that lead over Rose, Takahashi, Cook, and Ricmotech. And Harris behind him.
And thanks to John Grabowski giving us the rundown there at the bottom of the screen so we can catch how long some of these drivers have been in the pits. And we see now Ben Rose disappears from that lower third there, and he is back on his way out. Rose appears as though he will rejoin in third position in GTP as Baron Glover had just come down the pit lane. He is now pitting and came in from fourth.
We'll let things sort themselves out here and see. Rose is third, about 13 seconds or so there behind Mylan Harris, and about 40 seconds back total from Jordan Butler. Butler having a pretty good run so far. Solid outing. You watch him. He doesn't look like he's forcing the issue with his passes on some of this traffic. He just wants to get on by. But Rose obviously had one of our contenders, it seems, every night when we have one of these GTPs in the field. So right now in a provisional podium spot for him as we get a good shot of Lucas Tragoda right there behind John Sterling. And Sterling in the battle there with the 26 and Josh Vidal in the Mercedes. It's a train all led by, who's that in front of them? Is that Wedderburn?
I think that's Wedderburn directly ahead, who's a lap down. Exactly, and we see one of our GTP racers trying to go through. This is starting to look very much like our opening laps here, Larry.
Wedderburn maybe will move aside. We'll see.
I think that was Halabi who was trying to work his way through.
Could be. Is Vidal's going to get around Wedderburn? Can Lucas do the same? Lucas gets around Sterling. Lucas is going to try and dispatch of his fellow Porsche and Wedderburn as they get up here to turn 2. This is awfully close. Oh, there was contact there between Dragoda and Wedderburn. Wedderburn better watch. He is the lapped car here.
He's going to have to deal. And I was saying he's got to deal with some GTP traffic, which he almost ran into the grass there, Larry. I think he was still trying to recover from what happened a couple corners before. May not have recognized that there was a GTP car on his right flank.
And remember, Sterling in the Ferrari, who's still behind him, is a lap up on Wedderburn. So technically, Wedderburn's got to do a bit of a yield here. You don't want to stop. You don't want to just park it in the middle of the track. You don't want to park it anywhere. It is, the onus is on the passing car, but it should be a little bit of a lift, kind of point-by style. We'll see if Wedderburn, or well, I guess we'll see if the 87 of Sterling is able to make his way on by as we go on board with Lucas Tragoda in his Porsche now trying to chase down Josh Vidal in that Mercedes.
Yeah, and as Sterling is trying to find a way through that Porsche and had been flashing the headlights pretty vigorously, he is starting to lose quite a bit of time now to Lucas Dragoda, as now, and there you go. Well, nope, the Ferrari hasn't gotten it done yet. Driving their mirrors quite a bit there.
All right, well, looks like this time Sterling is going to make his way on by and make that pass stick, but not after losing a couple of car lengths to those rivals in front that are on the same lap, and Lucas Dragoda and Josh Vidal. Sterling now has got to go make up some ground on them.
This is Ben Rose. Yep. Rose now coming down the inside of this group, and probably got them just at the right place on tracks. If he'd come up on them probably about 20 seconds earlier, could have all gone very, very wrong for them. All right, let's see. I'm looking to see, Larry, if we have any drivers yet to pit. And I believe all of our racers, yes, have made it through their pit cycles.
Interestingly, though, is Rob Hartley and all that fell back behind Jeff Brooks. Remember, at one point, Hartley was having trouble getting around Jeff Brooks and Jeff Jacobs. He managed to dispatch them, but here we are after the pit sequence, and he's back behind Brooks again. in that Audi.
Yeah, and he had come in for his pit stop a little bit early, I think, to try and find a way around, and instead he ends up falling back a couple about a half second, and that was enough to put him behind the 85 car.
Now Hartley is still in third place in GT3 Pro, but he's got 4 different GT3 AM drivers in front of him. Of course, your leader in class, Kurt Roberts, Aaron Beaver, David Steiner, and then Jeff Brooks right in front of him. And so that is still points that you need to get. They do give out points based on overall GT3 position. So you may see in the standings only a certain list of names, but you can help your cause by passing some AM drivers, even if it isn't for class. Rough line there. Looks like Hartley's going to save it. Oh, so close.
A little bit of a tank slapper there. Yeah.
A little bit as Caffrey goes by. Caffrey's a lap down.
Right.
But he wasn't really wanting to go by, but Hartley's struggling here with the Audi tonight.
Yeah, and Schwenke probably had a real good view of that there. He's coming over the radio.
Caffrey probably will lift here. And yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's going to go ahead and let Hartley by again. Oh, but he's got a GTP behind him.
Yeah, and it looked like he came
Dibble,
all the
actually.
way over to the other side. Yeah, Tanner Dibble.
Yeah, that's not just any. That is the original pole sitter, Tanner Dibble, who's had, a long time in the pits. But he's going to make his way on by.
Yeah, and so Dibble now on the same lap as the GT3 field here. So that was actually a pass for overall position as Dibble now moved up to 18th overall, getting around Hartley. And
but that's 5 laps down from Jordan
Exactly.
Butler.
he's still 5 laps down from the front of the GTP field.
All right, so this battle here, that's the Michael Brooks course now. Another one of our wrong stuff battles against an Orion driver. This is Brooks against Schwenke battling for 4th and Pro.
Yeah, again, our pole sitter in GT3 there with Travis Schwenke just ahead.
Yeah, they're not far right behind Rob Hartley. It's just about 2 seconds in front of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're close. Hartley's sitting in 3rd right now with Schwenke 4th and Brooks 5th. I mean, there's a podium spot possibly at play here.
And Brooks has been mighty fast here. If he can get by Schwenke, there's a really good chance he'll catch Hartley relatively quickly. You can see Hartley just around the corner up there in front of them. Again, just about 2 seconds up the road. So for Brooks, he'd like to get past that Audi and try and go chase down the other and dispatch both of the Orion drivers here within a few laps. And then he would have to deal with Jeff Brooks.
On the previous lap, Michael Brooks almost a full second faster than Travis Schwenke. Don't want to talk about, Hartley's previous lap had that big bobble. We'll get a little bit better feeling for his pace in just a few moments, as Hartley was almost 3 seconds off of what these two were doing.
But look at that graphic there.
Thank
you, John. Is the graphic of Brooks catching Schwenke chunk after chunk after chunk, and now he's right on his tail. And I suspect here as they come up to that turn 15 final corner before the long straightaway, that down this front straight, I wouldn't be surprised to see that Lamborghini getting around that Audi. Similar power plants in these things, but Michael Brooks has just been very fast here, and in these long straightaways, that draft plays a big part. And if he does it right, he could probably catch John Casey in the 78, a little bit of a draft off of that Ferrari.
Well, let's see if he can do the leapfrog here, as we've got Schwenke staying all the way to the inside driver's left, probably driver's right. You've got that little kink on the front straight as they come down into turn number 1, and Brooks is going to try to go the long way around the outside as Hartley is able to hold him off.
Yeah, so Schwenke, a great, you know what it is? I'm wondering if they've got this thing all trimmed out here for this long straightaway in that Orion setup, that Schwenke's the one that normally does the setups for that team, because Brooks just couldn't do anything with the draft or whatever, could not make that pass. I think he's faster in the twisty bits, which we're seeing, but I think the Orion's a little quicker in a straight line. They did get past Casey. Ben Rose, is it Rose in the 5?
Yeah, that's Rose in the 5, trying to come underneath both of them.
Pardon me, excuse me.
Coming through, coming through.
I'd like to play through, please. Thank you. It's a golf reference.
Replace your divot. The next time we see Bobby Childs spin off, we'll just ask him to replace his divots.
Poor Bobby. I know he's already disconnected from the sim, but I just wonder if he bothers to listen in. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he invites his friends. All right, let's see this time if Michael Brooks can get a better one.
Chat. I think he was too.
Yeah, look at Brooks. He's going to try and use the inside line. He's going to try and force Schwenke into a bad exit. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Maybe he can catch a little bit of a draft off of Bailey Petrowski. Nope.
Yeah, and he's scrubbed off a lot of speed, keeping that car down on the curbing all the way around through.
This is just fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating to watch two different setup cars that have the same power plant. They should have similar torque, similar gearing. These aren't that different here, but yet he can't seem to find his way by because that Audi in front seems to be so slippery. As one of our lazy rebels looks like he's going to try and come on by. I don't know if that's which one that is.
And as I remember that the organizers had added a little bit of extra weight and pulled a little bit of horsepower out of the Audi to close things down, and still that Lamborghini in the very similar chassis couldn't do anything about it. Should also mention that the Porsche has had a little bit of power pulled out of it as well, a couple horsepower.
Speaking of Porsche against Mercedes, there you go with the 26 of Vanal and the 119 of Lucas Dragotta side by side going down into turn one. Dragotta's got the inside line. Can he hold it? Or can the Mercedes run around the outside, It looks like the Porsche's got the shorter cut all the way up into two. Hold it for just a couple more corners again. Good battle going on between these two here for, I think that's for 7th in the AM category.
Yeah, and it's been pretty much a recurring theme there at turn one, Larry, all night long, that as long as you have that inside position and you make the competitor go wide through the outside, they cannot get quite close enough to you to stick the nose inside going into the left-hander over at turn two.
I think the only time we've seen it differently might have been the opening lap.
The opening lap, yeah.
Yeah, you know, when Dragotta was alongside Michael Brooks, they had a pretty good hold there. But you're right, since then it's been, if you've got the inside line, you're going to hold that corner. No one's been able to make the outside line stick and then get the advantage into two. But the only time we saw it close, I think, was that battle of Jeff Jacobs and Rob Hartley. And Hartley had to wait all the way to 3 on the right side of the track to finally hold the pass. It just takes a lot of skill to hold those lines all the way around that sequence to make it pass.
All right, looks like Andre Wedderburn bringing his Porsche, his Porsche down onto the pit lane. Don't know if he's experiencing some problems there. And he is already a number of laps down. We saw him a little bit earlier. As we jump back, this is Jordan Butler, and actually Larry, when we said it was Ben Rose earlier, I think it might have been Jordan Butler when we saw him underneath a couple GT cars.
Yeah, these DNA cars always tough to tell, but I tell you, Butler has been mighty quick. He's already 38 seconds up on the field, with now about 25 minutes to go in this race. And another quick recap of the leaders: Ken Copeland now almost 5 seconds ahead of Leo Dragotta, and then in the AM category, Kurt Roberts is up about 3 seconds on Aaron Beaver. But just watch how on board here, how smooth this is for Butler. Ooh, comes up on a couple of slow GT3s. Woo, that could be a little hairy. He made his way through safely, but boy, that was a bit scary for a moment. Car's just so fast. So the downforce, it works well around this place. It's almost like it was built for it. Certainly, we know the Grand Prix F1 cars go pretty fast around this place.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, these similar long, sleek, lots of downforce, lots of power GTP cars, equally fast around here.
Let me see if I can pull up what F1 times are around here.
And while you do that, looks like Michael Brooks again is going to see what he can do with Travis Schwenke. He's made his way back up. He'd fallen back a couple of car lengths there as the GTPs were passing on through, but here he is coming around turn 3. He has made his way back up behind the Orion machine. This is the battle for fourth. Again, they're about 2 seconds back from Rob Hartley. You can see Hartley just a corner in front of them. They are definitely working the way there. That might be the race leader coming up behind them in Jordan Butler. I think that is now splitting them. Butler squeaks on through. Oh no, there's a puff of dirt there from Schwenke as he comes around to turn 7. Track position though, he's gonna hold the position. I don't think Brooks can get by unless he dives in going into 10.
He's gonna try. Schwenke drops a
Can he
wheel
make it
once
stick?
again.
If he's got a better downforce setup, that's how he'll make it work, and he does. So Brooks now finally gets on by as the 91 of Jonathan Bass now comes up inside of both of them around turn 12.
And
that's that
pushing
limited
Brooks a little
Bill Mofield,
wide.
right?
That might be just what Schwenke needed. Was able to close things down once again.
Well, this will be interesting because now Schwenke, if my theory is right, the Schwenke's got the more slipstream setup on the car. Schwenke might be able to make a draft pass down the front straightaway. Here they are coming up to turn 15. Schwenke's going to set up for a good exit here. Can he stick to the bumper of that Lamborghini and make a draft pass back into 1?
Yeah, and Larry, I think you've got it right there as far as the downforce settings, because we noticed that Schwenke, even though he didn't keep the car pinned to the inside like we saw a couple laps ago from Brooks, he was basically feathering the throttle all the way through there and lost a lot of ground mid-corner to the Lamborghini.
It just never had the exit speed to be able to make a run on Brooks. And now we'll see if Brooks really has the better downforce. That car is well set up. Let's watch him through turns 2 and 3 as he's got a Baron Glover, one of his teammates, of course, from GTP ranks in the Wrong Stuff Racing, just behind him, and see if he's going to go ahead and let that GTP on by. And he does. As they're chanting GWS
teammate love,
in the chat.
All right, so Larry, fast F1 time from the Tuscan Grand Prix back in 2020. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton at a 1:18.833.
Okay.
And
that's about 14 seconds faster than what Jordan Butler's done tonight.
Exactly, and F3, the FIA F3 machine's a 1:37.
Okay. It's about right, yeah.
Yeah, looking to see if.
Oh, here we go. Good little battle here.
Yes.
This is Vidal and Lucas. Still can't make that outside line stick.
No, we saw this fight 2 laps ago, and as they are having to deal with again some of our GTP traffic. I think that's is that Bass going through.
That's Cook.
That's Cook. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the 510.
Austin Cook in the 510. Yeah.
Currently in 4th. He's moving at a pretty good pace tonight. In fact, I'm going to keep an eye on this. We got about 20 minutes to go in this thing. Cook in 4th, about 10 seconds or 7 seconds, I guess, behind the podium spot there for Ben Rose. Cook has been the faster car all night long. He's about a second faster on his overall best. He was a second faster on the last time by. Let's keep our eye on Cook. Just watch that gap, now down to 6 seconds between 3rd and 4th in the GTPs, while we continue to watch this great battle, Lucas Stragota and Josh Vidal here in the GT3 AMs. As the TWS chants continue in the chat. Big fans there. They bring the whole crowd.
Right.
They'll be like the Dutch fans, you know, they go to the races and set off the big orange smoke bombs. That's what's going on right now with the TWS fans. They're setting off like this
multicolored pink and blue,
yes,
and purple.
The pink, purple, and green smoke bombs are going off in their houses. All right, so here they are onto the front straight. Lucas, a terrible exit off of there. Let's see if Josh Vidal can make that Mercedes stretch its legs and get on by the Porsche. Oh, look how close it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, try a little bit of side draft. Got the nose in front, got the clear call. Now he's going to take the inside line. He's tired of that outside line. Can Lucas make it work? Lucas is going to make it stick. Look at this.
And he's set to the inside. He's just got to be able to push Vidal out a little bit further.
Not going to make it, though.
Oh. And as the track switches back, contact, and Dragota goes off into the gravel, and now he's going to have to fight his way back.
That was good stuff there, but yeah, a little bit tight there for Lucas. I think he tried to.
And now Vidal goes wide, and he runs off.
And he's going to get a course cut for making that corner a little bit shorter than it's supposed to be. What good racing. I don't know if he was just saying, oh, excuse me, pardon me, you go ahead in front of me. I don't think he meant to.
No, I don't think that was. I don't think that was on the plan.
No, now he's got all that work. He finally made the pass. He's been dying to for a number of laps, and got to go do it all over again. That's a part of racing.
Say, John, is it possible for us to pull back and see what happened as he went off? John says totally. Awesome.
Oh, it's McGoats. Look at it. Sorry. So here's where they had the separation. Let's watch Vidal now going down between turns 3 into 4. And he turns into 4 late and just about loses it. Manages to hold it together, but not before losing a position and having to serve that course cut penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, so much work and have to do it again. Not over yet, though. Still 17 minutes to go. He can reel him back in.
A lot of time.
Yeah. Some pretty good airtime tonight. To Josh.
All right, let's move up. This is our leader. He's had a pretty quiet race, Larry. Our leader in GT3 AM, Kurt Roberts. And,
yeah, let's see if Aaron Beaver's got anything left in the tank to try and make a run. He did pick up a couple tenths the last time around, but he's going to start picking up a little bit more there. It's about 3 seconds between these two and their Mercedes. You can see him back there. He's not that far. And then Steiner is just 2 seconds behind Beaver. So really 4.5, 5 seconds covering these 3 drivers here in the podium positions in the AM category of GT3. So it's not decided with 15, 16 minutes left. You know, did everybody, are they save their tires? Did they take on enough fuel? Is there still traffic to manage? A lot of things still undecided. That red looks great though.
It does.
It makes a Mercedes almost look like a Ferrari. I don't know who I upset more, the Mercedes fans or the Ferrari fans with that comment.
I don't know. With the green, I just think it looks like a big Christmas tree. I'm sure Kurt is looking for a big present in the next 15 minutes. Though.
Gonna have to earn this one. They don't just give these out for free.
No, they just give us these things for free. All right.
Well, we talked about Michael Brooks and his pace, and maybe he could roll in and reel in Rob Hartley. He has done that after dispatching of Schwenke. There's the graphic. Chunk by chunk, he's managed to make his way up there. That is for potential podium position in GT3 Pro.
Yeah, so what, in about 7 laps, he took about 2.5 seconds off the gap, and
yeah, but I'm looking at the overall.
If you look, Jeff, I mean, it's not for class, but even Jeff Brooks is not that much further ahead at this point.
Oh, and it looks like he might have the inside going around 12 for Michael Brooks. It looks like the inside now for this quick left-right chicane is going to go to Hartley.
Yeah, Brooks took advantage of that GTP traffic or GTP car coming on through. Just was not able to keep the nose alongside Hartley as they came through and switched back from a right-hand turn to a left-hand turn. And then here you go. Now let's see.
Well, we know Ryan cars historically run the same setup. So if this thing is trimmed out like we think it is, it could be tough for Michael to get on by Hartley, just like it was to get on by Schwenke.
Well,
now,
he just closed in like a half car length there, Larry.
He's going to try and dive the inside. How good is he on the brakes? That's clean. Look how tidy that is for Brooks. He's going to run it wide to hold the line. Beautiful stuff. And that's Austin Cook and make contact with Michael Brooks.
And Brooks goes around. Oh my gosh. So and now and look at this as Brooks is trying to recover. He goes around, spins the car once again. Brooks is going to drop all the way back into 6th position in Pro. Oh my gosh.
Just when you think he's going to salvage some points here tonight and get himself a podium, luck comes and bites him hard. That is the 5'10" of Austin Cook, who's got his own race. Look, he's in 4th place. He's trying to get around these guys. Contact just comes through, and Michael Brooks trying to now get out of the way of the next GTP coming through. And
then I think he had just issues getting out of the gravel trap there. That is so unfortunate. It was close racing there. He gave the GTP car all the room in the world that he needed and tried to keep the car to the inside. Just did not. The 2 drivers not able to maintain that gap, and Michael Brooks unfortunately gets the worst of it. And so that takes a lot of the pressure.
Yeah. Well,
off
the stewards,
of now.
as you see on the screen, stewards are going to take a look at that. That is the 83, of course, Michael Brooks, and the 5'10" of Austin Cook. It's going to be really hard to assign blame because the contact happens when they're side by side in this quick left-right part of the track.
It didn't look like either driver made any moves. They just got too close.
Each one thought they were going to be a foot further to the outsides, and they just weren't. And I'd be surprised if there's a penalty issued here, but we'll let the stewards make that call. So we get a good shot of Austin Cook again, who's trying to catch Ben Rose in all of this. Remember, it's still about 7 seconds between them. It's not over yet. He could get himself a podium here if he can lay down some laps. So he didn't need that either. He definitely doesn't want to mess around with GT3s.
And obviously he's going to probably lose a little bit of time on this lap. But on the previous lap, he knocked the second out of the gap to Ben Rose. Okay. And with about 11 minutes or thereabouts.
11, 12 minutes, and he's about 5 seconds.
Yeah,
it's there. He's got to dispatch traffic quickly, which is probably what he was trying to do there with Hartley and Brooks. It just got a little bit too tight. But look at this now as Ben Rose is trying to do the same thing. As one of our drivers decided to just get out of the way. It might have been Daniel Krim. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that was Krim, and noticed that our overall our GT leader Ken Copeland is sitting right in the middle of that as well.
Well, you just had the graphic on the screen there between Cook and Rose. And Cook continuing to take chunks out. Now 4 seconds down with 11 minutes to go.
There it is.
Rose, there it is. Rose doing anything he can to try and hold this off. He's got clean track in front of him now. He's just hoping the traffic he just worked through becomes a slowdown for Cook. But I think we're going to have a fight on our hands here in about maybe 3-4 laps the way this thing is going.
Look at that. Another 2 seconds knocked out. He has just been, Cook has been, as you said, just chopping away at Ben Rose right now. And there's definitely the chance that he could get there. Rose just did not have a great lap that last time by. Was, as you saw, almost 2 seconds slower than Austin Cook. And that was even with the incident that Cook had. Of course, we're still waiting to hear back from the stewards and get a decision on the incident that they were reviewing between Cook and Michael Brooks.
This onboard, beautiful stuff here. Watch how this track just flows now as we go around through. I think this is down in turns 8 into 9. Oh, that's just taking little bits of chances to try and close this gap. He's trying everything, throwing it at it, making it stick, going down through 10 and 11.
There you go, and you can see Ben Rose just ahead now.
Yep. Seconds between them. Rose has definitely turned up a little bit to try and respond. Cook is just so fast. He missed a bit of a late apex there. Got the gas a bit early. Watch him go across the 13-14 Biondetti 1 and Biondetti 2. I could pronounce things I don't understand too. Through the Buccini final corner, turn 15 onto the straightaway. Maybe catch a little bit of a draft here off some GT3s. He'd like to dispatch this battle. That's the battle there, of course, of Vidal and Dragotta.
And look at Vidal. Vidal is closed up right back in the back of Dragotta again.
We'll get to that
in the
one
last
here.
3 laps,
We got battles all over now.
So much going on.
There is. It's Cook now, 3.2. Rose has definitely responded. Let's take a look at this. All right, what we saw earlier was Dragotta kept getting the inside line going into 1, and Vidal couldn't make the pass. Once they switched, he had the pass, and then lost it on the next corner.
Yeah.
Let's see if maybe Dragotta's tires are going off. Vidal might still have some pace in them as they come around here down through turn 6, the Casanova, into the Savelli, turn 7, at the bottom of the hill. This section is so much fun. It's like a bit of a roller coaster down.
Down,
every
raise
corner
back
gets
up,
faster.
and then comes back up.
Oh, and around here, as you wrap around from 8 up to 9, as it climbs this hill, you can't see it. You just got to hope it's there and keep your foot in it. It's beautiful stuff. Love this track.
Yep, right here.
He's there. He's there if he now can start calculating a pass. 8 minutes to go on the clock. 4 or 5 laps, something like that, depending on class, depending on where our leader is. At this point, that's Jordan Butler, and nobody's seen him in a while because he's just checked out. Almost a minute on the field. Did a lap on all but about 5 cars out there.
And Larry, we'll have to see if he's lost spot. Looks like Alex Brown may have had a little bit of a moment.
Oh, yeah.
There's the 67 making a run through the gravel trap. He's still sitting 5th in AM. He hasn't given up a position to John Sterling. Let's see what happened.
All right, well, that's coming off of turn 1 up here, the short hill into 2. Loses it in 2. Tires might be starting to go for him. He's just kind of parks it down in that gravel trap. I think he was trying to avoid any oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
For his re-entry.
Oh,
it's still sliding.
And look at that. He's still got the rear end rocking around on him.
Yeah. All right, well, Cook now has it down to 2 seconds between third place Ben Rose and Austin Cook in third between the Porsche and the Cadillac. There is Rose, that number 5.
Yeah, with 6.5 minutes remaining.
He won a lot of races last year. He'd love to get a podium tonight, but it's not going to come easy. They come in the points. Well, let's see if we can get a quick recap of where these two are both sitting in points coming in tonight after 3 rounds. Ben Rose is 5th.
5th, and
Cook
is out of the top.
Might be his
20.
first. Yeah, he had one finish at Long Beach, 18th place.
Yeah.
So really only in his second race of the season. Good pace tonight, though. There he is. You can see him right there behind the 66 of Caffrey. He's going to dispatch a Caffrey here on the straightaway after stealing some draft. 6 minutes to go. 1.7 seconds between them. Rose can feel that pressure. Remember, we've had cameras on Rose in pressure-filled situations. The guy doesn't bat his eyes.
No, he doesn't blink.
So I do not expect him to crack under this right now. This is going to have to be on Cook to go out there and earn this, to go after it, to go get it. He's got to be laying down fast ones. His last time by Cook in 34.2, a little slower than what he had previously been doing in the 33s, but he did take 5/10 out of Rose's position. Moving down through 8 into 9. 2.5 between them. Rose now. It's where you got to hit your marks. You got to hit this just right. Going into 12. Critical corner here. You got to get a strong exit. You can't waste any time or distance around there. That looked pretty solid.
You've got the quick switchbacks right over here, and then same thing down into the final corner, down into turn 15.
Yeah, very similar to 12. A little bit different exit, but kind of about the same sort of radius and sweep.
Yeah.
All right. He was able to open up a little bit there, Rose did. It was down to 1.5, now back up to 1.8 for Rose.
Yeah, and Larry, maybe recognizing that the rear tires might be going away a little bit. We saw where Rose, he stayed off the curbing down at the apex there, just kind of took almost center of track, trying to open that corner up as much as possible, and as you said, was able to get a much better jump out of there than Austin Cook.
Yeah, Rose maybe recognizing that the tires starting to go, and Cook might just be driving his tires off a little bit.
Yeah.
Although his last lap of 33.4, so he did pick up some time there. He's moving, and Rose at 33.2, so he did respond as he dispatches the 86.
Yeah, that's Ilya Spiker in the Porsche.
Haven't heard much from him tonight after his good run at Long Beach. He had a couple of offs early in this race and just hasn't been much of a factor. It's Daniel Krim in that Mercedes in front of him. Krim's going to do what he can to get out of the way. This is going to be a factor, though. Just for one corner was enough, I think. And here comes Cook, who's flashing the lights saying, hey, let me through.
Yeah, now they're in a spot, and Krim goes all the way out to driver's left. And, here it comes.
Yep, all they did was just enough where coming through that 9-10 sequence there, Rose had the lift, and now Rose catches Michael Brooks and Jeff Jacobs coming around here through turn 12.
Place.
Yeah, through 15. He may have just put Brooks between them, though.
Yeah, I thought maybe as Jacobs was tracking out all the way, that might have impacted Rose, but he actually got a very good run there as Cook got caught up between the two GT cars. And what was a 1 second gap now, or a little bit less than a second, is now expanded to 1.1. And Larry, 2.5 minutes remain.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, depending on where Jordan Butler is, Try to figure out when this race is going to end, if it's going to be 2 laps or 3.
Well, he's just crossed the start-finish line.
All right, so it should be 2 more laps for him, and then for everybody behind him. Is they're running about 1:35, 36 a lap. Look at this. He's just desperate to get on through. Goes around Schwenke, trying to get any kind of sheet metal between he and Cook behind him. Look at this. He's going to come up on these. This is some traffic. Is that Kilo in the 712? Is this the move? Is this
Not
it?
Quite close enough, and he's got the Orion. He's got Hartley directly ahead that he can't move over to driver's right.
To go outside. But this is going to give, it looks like, Cook a chance. Cook's going to get an opportunity here to draft on the front straightaway. They might be possibly getting the white flag. We'll see. No, they're not, because there's going to be 2 more laps of this. Yeah, because Butler's somewhere else yet to see the white flag.
Yeah, but Butler right now is behind these 2.
Right, okay, so half a second is the gap. Rose is just running for his life right now. This is for a podium in GTP.
Matter of fact, Butler's coming out of the final corner right now onto the front straight, Larry.
And he'll get white flag right now. So these guys have got to go 1.9 laps around, and that is not what Rose wants, which is GT3 cars in front of him. But he gets one between. That's going to help his cause for a moment. That's the 63. It's in between them there. Check quick name who that was. Oh, that's David Steiner, of course.
Steiner.
Steiner running 3rd in his GT3 AM category. His own good night tonight. He's watching the podium battle right in front of him go on by in GTPs. Look how much faster Cook is, down through 7 and into 8. Oh no, there's 2 wide for GT3s in front of Rose.
Oh, this is going to be a problem. As I think that was Brockway over to driver's left in the 62, and
that's Aaron Beaver.
Beaver in the
second
Mercedes.
place GT3 AM, trying to get out of the way. Everything's settled, everything's good. All right, so round through 12, we'll call it 1 lap plus 4 corners to go. This is the battle for 3rd in GTP. Butler, your leader, has already seen white flag. He's off doing his own thing. This is the best battle on the track. All right, they will see the white flag in the air, and there's GT3s in front of them. Can they get past them before they get to turn 1? They're going to, I think. One of them will.
And the Christmas tree moves over driver's right.
Yeah, Cook's going to do everything he can. All right, so Cook now needs to close up. He's fallen a second back, but there's more GT3 traffic. That's an Orion in front of them. I don't know if that's Hartley. Could be.
All right, Larry, let's jump back over as Jordan Butler is going to take the win here in GTP.
Wow, dominance.
Let's go and move back to that battle for the next podium position. And Milan Harris, he's going to make his way around onto the front straight here. Actually, he's got about a half a lap or so. Yeah, but he's running pretty easily there in second. Let's jump back to the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, we'll get back to the battle here for 3rd. As now it looks like there's contact that may have happened. We'll get to that in a little bit as well.
Vidal and Lucas Dragotta, as they had been within about a car length or so of one another for the last 3 laps, and Dragotta off in the gravel. We saw that there was a little
busy night.
Yeah, for those 2 early on, but here we go.
All right.
Last lap.
Look, your leader in GT3 Pro, Ken Copeland, right now, right in front of 3rd place Ben Rose. That's going to hold him up through this little bit of a chicane. Is that enough of a run? I don't know if it's going to be enough for Cook, who got held up with the prior traffic. That might have been enough for Rose to hang on to this 3rd and final podium position in GTP with just a straightaway remaining. But what a battle between these guys. What a run for Cook to close up.
Wow. All right, and coming across the line to take the 3rd podium position, it's Ben Rose. Austin Cook's going to finish just off the podium in 4th. In GT3, Ken Copeland takes the win in Pro, finishing in 2nd. We just saw him cross the line. Leah Dragotta is 2nd in Pro. Kurt Roberts will cross the line. The Dead Bull Racing Mercedes driver takes the win in AM, with Aaron Beaver finishing in 2nd. And David Steiner will come home in 3rd in that blue and white BMW. And now finally crossing the line, Robert Hartley takes the bronze in pro.
That's some exciting racing tonight.
Wow.
90 minutes, you would think we'd get kind of dull, but not tonight. This track, these drivers, beautiful racing, so much skill out there. But I'll tell you what, I will bet these drivers we get to interview are going to tell us how much time they practice, because some of them really showed their pace. Butler, Copeland, Roberts, all three of them dominant form in their classes. This should be some pretty good interviews.
So wait, you mean they weren't waiting for us to play the track guide?
I don't think they waited.
No, probably not. All right, Larry, let's take a quick break. Thanks to some of our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll talk to our podium finishers here at Mugello, where you've just seen round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501.
And welcome back to Mugello, everybody, where we've just seen round number 4 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. Let's take a look at that finishing order once again. We'll start off in GT. Oh, we'll take a look at all of them here. Jordan Butler from DNA. He is your winner with good night for Rockefeller Racing here tonight, with Milan Harris finishing in 2nd. Ben Rose finishing 3rd for DNA. In GT3 Pro, Ken Copeland from The Wrong Stuff takes the win, with Leo Dragota finishing in 2nd. You don't see it on the screen there, but I can tell you that Robert Hartley from Orion finished in 3rd. And in GT3 AM from Dead Bull Racing, it is Kurt Roberts, your winner, with his very first win here in the World Series. Aaron Beaver from Rockefeller Racing finishing in 2nd. David Steiner coming home in 3rd for Dominate Racing. All right, so Larry, we've got a couple folks sitting in the green room right now. Let's do this. Why don't we bring in, and for a while, pretty quiet race. We're going to bring in from Rockefeller Racing, finishing 2nd in GTP tonight, Milan Harris.
All right, Milan Harris joining us after a good solid 2nd place run here in GTP. It looked a bit hectic out there at times for us. Tell me a little bit about what you saw from your side.
It was an intense race, but it was a lot of fun. Dealing with the traffic, I think for the most part, was pretty good. Few questionable spots, I guess. Maybe should have second guessed if I should try to do that or not. But there was a little bit of pressure from behind, so I didn't want that gap to close. So it was just kind of, hey, keep this pace going, push it and just try to be smart and try and see if we can hold for that second. I had to do a little bit of fuel saving there at the end. I started coming close to if I was even going to finish, and so kind of had to drop the pace off, but luckily nobody was able to catch up and we can hold it. And huge congrats to Jordan Butler. That guy was on another level today. And I mean, I obviously need to go back and do some homework for these next couple of races, but I didn't get much practice this weekend. I was actually at Road Atlanta doing some track driving up there for the weekend, so I didn't get as much time in the sim as I like to this weekend leading into this, but I'll take second. I wasn't expecting that. So
it's a good way to tell your competitors, well, I didn't get to practice. I was doing, real driving stuff. It's a good excuse. I'll give you that. But no, awesome stuff. Second place is definitely no shame here. As you said, Jordan Butler just on another level here tonight. Tough race out there. It just looked really tough to run, but you said, it's hard to get a lot of practice in. How many 90-minute practice runs can you get to even know if your fuel's going to get there? There's a lot of variables into this, so to be able to bring this thing home in second, a solid run. Got any shout outs you want to give to your folks at Rockefeller Racing or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out to the Rockefeller Racing team. Actually, leading into my weekend to go to Road Atlanta, I met one of our teammates in Atlanta, and the team got together, got a whole poster of our cars and a picture on the sim, and they all signed it and stuff like that. So, I mean, cool. Show up in Atlanta, go drive my car on the track, get a gift from the team that they all signed. I mean, that's a family right there. So I absolutely love the Rockefeller Racing team. And, huge thanks to you guys up here in the broadcast booth. Glad to be here for the first time. Hope to be back. And all the sponsors for the league and stuff. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, awesome job tonight. Sounds like you got a great group of teammates there in Rockefeller Racing. Very, very cool. But congrats on the second place finish here tonight. Mylan Harris getting that second here in GTP.
All right, Brian. All right, Larry. That's twice. We're the Anthony brothers. They should be drinking right now. Let's do this. Let's bring in our GTP winner tonight for DNA Racing, Jordan Butler.
All right, Jordan, I think the Ferrari team just called. They need a new test driver for this track. You just showed your mastery of this place.
Thank you.
How much time did you put in? You owned this place tonight like everyone else is on another level.
I did a decent amount of practice here. It's not the most I've done. I think I did more practice for Long Beach just because I didn't know the track. But I knew that I wasn't going to have time for like the official practice session, so I did a lot of test sessions just to get the muscle memory in, and I just had to go with gut instinct to deal with the traffic.
Yeah, it seems that sometimes for a lot of folks, traffic really got crazy, especially those that were in tight battles that made the pressure really come on. But every time we came to you, you were just flowing past cars, maybe being conservative at times, and just it's like it just was kind of coming easy to you. At least that's kind of how it looked in the way you were flowing through it. It was really exciting to watch, but just dominant. You could pick and choose your pit strategies. Nobody was seen to be around you. Nobody really even challenging for you. I mean, obviously there were a couple of cars early in the race that maybe struggled and didn't quite get through, but I think that's part of the nature of this beast, having 40 some cars on this track, isn't you have to survive the first few laps.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, my strategy was like I got my teammate next to me at the front row, and I was actually going to go do a two-stop. Like no one even thought about a two-stop. I was going to go two-stop and just push 100% the whole race. Yeah. Because I didn't expect my tires to hold up. But then when Tanner and Bailey got in their little incident, I got the lead, and all of a sudden I pulled a gap, and I was like, all right, I can just throttle back, take it easy, save my tires, and just go with the traditional strategy. And obviously it paid off and worked out. And I think actually taking it easier and going a little slower, being a little more conservative with traffic, it saved my tires and allowed me to actually keep my speed through the whole stint. Because I was still pulling really good lap times the whole stint, whereas I was expecting a big drop-off.
Yeah, no, it's very smooth and well calculated. And I think you're now the fourth different winner we've got in 4 rounds here in this World Challenge season, which is great. It's great for points. It's going to be very competitive all the way to the end. So maybe time to start cranking up the practice already for the next race in 2 weeks. But you can sit back, crack a bubbly. You can enjoy tonight. But I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you get this win.
Yeah, definitely. I got a pretty good contingent of DNA Motorsports guys also in this league, and we push each other. You know, I can get their lap times, I can see what they're doing, and we really help each other out. So their DNA Motorsports guys are really a big help for me. And then I got a good buddy who is watching us, and he can't really sim race right now, but I'm pulling for him to get back on the rig and come join us one day.
Cool. When he does, he's got to join this league. It's one of the best around, and he can be right alongside you as you continue to rack up victories. But you can definitely savor this one. This is a mastery in motion tonight. Jordan Butler taking the win from DNA Motorsports. Congrats.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right, there you go. Jordan Butler and his DNA Acura. Now let's move over to our GT3 AM winner here, Larry. That is Larry, right? Not Brian or...
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Still.
We're going to bring in Jordan Butler, driver of the number 195 Deadbolt Mercedes. Oh, did we just? Oh, don't do this. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, all right. Hey, let's bring in Kurt Roberts instead. He's driver of the number 195 Deadbolt Mercedes. Thank you. That makes much more sense. And he was your GT3 AM winner this evening.
All right, Kurt Roberts taking the win tonight in GT3 AM in that Mercedes. And Kurt, it wasn't easy, but it looked fast. It looked efficient. How did it feel from your side?
Oh, it was a bit rough, man. Car just wanted to push everywhere. So just trying to stay consistent as much as I could, and I guess it paid off.
Yeah, as the laps are winding along, and 90 minutes is a long time out there, you had to be watching that relative. You had to be kind of keeping an eye on Aaron and David and the guys behind you, because the gap wasn't huge, but it was comfortable-ish.
Yeah, no, they definitely had me on my toes. So, I just tried staying consistent. Like I said, they were definitely there.
Yeah, they definitely weren't keeping you honest, but you were able to continue to hold them off and get the victory. But I gotta ask, Deadbolt?
Yeah, I've been on iRacing now a couple of years, and the guy I kept racing with, he invited me to his Discord server. And he's the team owner of Deadbolt Racing, so.
Okay. All right, well, awesome. Well, the Deadbolt Racing team got themselves a victory tonight with you at the wheel. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for helping you get the win?
I'd just like to thank my girlfriend for letting me out here tonight.
Awesome. Always have to thank the significant other. It doesn't happen without them. So very, very cool. You can go and celebrate tonight on the win here in GT3 AM. Kurt Roberts, congrats.
So much.
All right, Larry, that leaves one more person to talk to, with our apologies to Aaron Beaver. We're going to bring in Ken Copeland, our GT3 Pro winner tonight, driving for the wrong stuff in his number 15 Mercedes.
All right, Ken Copeland joining us. Ken with the win here in GT3 Pro. And I've watched you win a couple of these things now in the last couple seasons, and it seems you're very calculated. You start off maybe just kind of conservative, and that pace just seems to get faster and faster. Is that a strategy, or is that just how the races come to you?
A little bit of both. I think it's a lot of how I just drive the car. I spend a lot of time in the MX-5s and whatnot, and I generally stay out of the ABS, so my one lap pace isn't always optimal, but I'm really, really gentle on the tires. So once the car starts to get light, I can push it a little easier. I think is just a byproduct of the way I drive.
Yeah, it looked exactly like that tonight. You had a really good battle going on there with Leo Jagoda for quite a while. Were you being conservative and just trying not to push, or was he really on that strong of a pace and just holding you back there?
No, he was really consistent. It was really weird because during the week, what we were looking at was times in the 47s throughout the entire stint. We had full stints where everybody, for the most part, that was on pace was kind of living in the high 47s, mid 47s. So the pace coming in tonight kind of got a little bit slower, and I was honestly struggling throughout the week in the Merc, but I feel like the pace of everybody else almost came to me. So I was behind him, and I was happy to be there because we were going to gap everybody else, save a little bit of fuel, but he still had really good pace. The pass that I made on him wasn't just an easy one that I'd been holding off for 10 laps by any means.
Yeah.
I think I got a run coming out of the last corner, and it just kind of made it look easy with 2 laps to go before the pit.
Yeah, it was definitely it was one of those. We were wondering if you were just going to wait and do it with a pit stop thing, or what you might do, but that pass wasn't easy. Leo, obviously one of the best out here, and tonight though was your night. It just a lot of traffic, a lot of bit of chaos out there. But even as the night ran on, your lead kept opening as the laps wound down. So just kind of capping what was a dominant win for you. But I'm sure you got a big team of supporters that definitely I'm sure you want to give a mention to for helping you get the win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. TWS is awesome. I spend a lot of time in the car with Michael Brooks. We do endurances together. He's a ton of fun, and honestly, he's responsible for a lot of the pace I brought tonight, helping me kind of set the car up a little bit differently than I'm used to. Mugello is not, the funnest track in the world in the Merc. Those 3D curbs are something to learn, but it is a beautiful track. It's a lot of fun on race night, and the multi-class here was a blast as well. I do want to give a shout out to a lot of the AMs in the league, like Kurt Roberts, Aaron Beaver, David Steiner. There were a bunch of them. Ilya that came out throughout practice. They were asking good questions. They found a lot of pace, and they brought it tonight as well. So big performance for them. Shout out to Leo as well. I know he didn't have a lot of practice time. Regarding TWS, we obviously have our sponsors, so UB Safe, Dangerous, Abruzzi, Simotion, WC91 Libraries. Thank you to them for allowing us to do what we do. And then obviously, thanks to you guys, Greg, Jonathan, Larry. Y'all do a wonderful job week to week. If you're watching out there, please do like. And obviously all of the admins at XMS, they bust their butt week in and week out to make this thing happen, and makes Mondays a lot of fun every other week.
They are a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun to race in them, I'm sure, but it's a lot of fun to sit here and be able to watch and call these things week after week. And you really put on a great display tonight, earning, I think, your second victory in 4 rounds so far here in the Ricmotech World Challenge. So congrats, Ken Copeland, with the win here in GT3 Pro.
Yep, thanks, gents.
All right, there you go. Thanks so much to Ken, and you heard him. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Even Brian, who's not here tonight, will thank you for it if you do.
What do you mean I'm here?
Oh, that's right, you are here. All right, Larry, let's do this. Let's wrap things up as we're a little bit past the witching hour here, at least in the middle of the ocean. And let's take a look at what we've got coming up on the Ricmotech schedule. Next week, oh gosh, we're already in the March. Next week, Monday night, March 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, it is the return of the Ricmotech Touring Car Cup for MX5 Cup and GR86 Cup cars. Round number 5 is going to be at what used to be known as the T1 circuit at Okayama for 2 30-minute sprint races with a field inversion right there in the middle. And because we love these inverted fields and these 2 race weekends or weeks so much, in 2 weeks, March 11th, when the Ricmotech World Challenge returns to Watkins Glen International, we're going to do 2 35-minute sprint races, and with the top 7 in the field inverted. And then coming up in the end of April 29th, we now have a venue. It is Imola. The Sports Car Series returns. That's for our GT4 and LMP3 drivers. It's going to be season number 6, so make sure to join us then. All right, so for Larry, Brian, McLeod, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We will see you next Monday night from Okayama. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.